Tech's lineup, they've shifted around a lot this year. Tolbert, a very productive player up front. Hannah shoots threes, but Gray makes it go. Tech has a chance tonight. Josh Gray has got to have a good game. And for Kansas State, Angel Rodriguez is one of the most improved point guards in the country. Leads the Big 12 in assist-to-turnover ratio, but the middle of the screen appropriately has Rodney Magruder, Stephen. He could be a first-team All-Big 12 player.
Most consistent scorer anyway in the Big 12 right now.
Tech will get the first opportunity. K-State tonight, John Higgins, Rick Crawford, Keith Kimball working the game. K-State is down a man as Jordan Henriquez not playing this evening. His grandmother passed away in New York. He is attending the funeral, and so he is not in K-State's lineup tonight.
This is where Gray is dangerous. Coming off the bounce, late in shot clock situations, able to create.
3 to shoot. Gray's got a pull. He has really struggled from three-point range. In fact, Josh Gray is 6 of his last 38 from 3.
So Jamal Williams is going to try to keep up with Rodney Magruder defensively.
A lot has been said about K-State's motion offense. What has it done for them?
I think it's made them more efficient. They have retained that hard-nosed residue from Frank Martin, but they've gotten better on the offensive end.
A 3 from Rodriguez barely flicks the rim. Good defense by Tech to start the game.
Texas Tech, they play hard. It's not like they're not going at it. They just can't get breaks. There's certain situations in games, Mitch, where they're down 4, 2 turnovers, 2 threes, and now, you know, you're down 10, and it's very difficult to come back.
Chris Walker took over the job on October the 4th, a week before practice started. Billy Gillespie resigned on September the 19th due to health reasons.
I think Chris Walker's done an excellent job in terms of having the mentality right for his team to be able to come and compete night in, night out, despite the 8-game losing streak.
Southwell, a 3 with a hand in his face. This is what K-State does best. Chase down misses.
Again, they maintain that residue from Frank Martin. I mean, they play tough defense. They're physical. They get on the offensive glass. They get points off turnovers, and yet they're more skilled offensively.
Gibson, and the first points of the game belong to K-State's big man. He was starting early, Stephen, and now K-State gets it back. He was starting early. They took him out of the starting lineup and put Jordan Henriquez in. Now with Henriquez out with his family situation, Gibson has to start again.
Yeah. Gibson is a wide body, knows his role, doesn't get outside of his game. Nice job at K-State working the screen. They go with the curl. Rodney Magruder curls into the paint, putting pressure on the defense. Gibson does what big men are supposed to do in that scenario, roll to the basket.
Dan Kravich called for the foul. Gibson not a great foul shooter at 60%. He has had good games at home. In fact, this year's best games have been here at Bramlage. 17 against Texas, 16 against Iowa State, and then 11 against West Virginia.
Well, he's surprising with that touch there. Such a big man in the paint area.
And Bruce Weber took Illinois all the way to the national championship game in '05. He was National Coach of the Year. They lost to North Carolina. Southern Illinois he took to the Sweet 16. And has K-State off to a 22-5 start.
See, Mitch, is so tough for Texas Tech because they rarely get easy buckets. They have to work so hard to score.
And Kravich able to take the trash out. Kravich had some big buckets in their upset win in Lubbock against Iowa State.
Nice patience by Kansas State. Coach Weber told us when they're playing their best basketball, the ball doesn't stick in one player's hands. They share it very, very well.
Southwell goes right around Kravich. nobody thought this kid would have the year he's having.
No, he just and it's a result of confidence. When you know you're going to play and the coach wants you to come in, and I'm sure Southwell didn't envision himself being a stretch four, but it's really been successful for Kansas State.
Hannes gets the runner. Usually a three-point specialist.
Yeah, Dusty Hannes rather understands it. In the level of this competition, Big 12, you're scouted night in, night out.
Great curl by Spradlin.
Kansas State does that as well as any team in the country, not just Big 12. Simple curl cut. You see Texas do it every now and then with Sheldon McClellan, trying to curl him into the paint area, but Spradling and Magruder are as good as any two guards in the country utilizing that down screen.
Rodriguez finds Magruder. And Chris Walker's going to be careful. He does not want this thing to slip away quick.
Plays like this, you're going against a first-place team. Small margin of error. That's just a mismatch nightmare right there. Kravitz does not have the foot speed to stay up with Southwell. And look at this tight curl. Spradling going shoulder to shoulder with Gibson, so Dusty Hannes has no chance but to follow. Too late, Spradling up with the easy jumper. That's great execution by the Wildcats.
14 turnovers forced a game, leading to 18 points off turns. That is one thing that has carried over from last year's team.
Yeah, they do a great job of denying certain passes to the wings. They're still very physical, even though they're in a four-guard lineup. Southwell and Magruder are as physical of wings as you'll see in the Big 12.
But to your point, one of the reasons they're 22-5 is they're not turning it over, and they're so efficient on the offensive end. Last year, that was an issue.
Right, and they don't beat themselves. Bruce Weber's coached teams typically take very good care of the basketball.
That's what Josh Gray can do best, is just beat you down on the dribble, and Tech misses a great opportunity to score. DJ Johnson, the freshman from St. Louis, getting minutes with Henriquez being absent tonight.
You feel bad for your teammate when he has a loss in the family, but the motto is next man step up.
Spradling steps out of bounds, but Rodney Magruder, fifth in the Big 12 in scoring, and Kansas State is up. ESPNU's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Bud Light. It's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Bracket Builder Week rolls on with Wednesday night hoops. As here, K-State leading Texas Tech 10-4. 5 minutes into the game, but Bracket Builder Week starts here. It continues Wednesday. I'll be at Fort Worth Wednesday night at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Marcus Smart, one of the top freshmen in the country, leads 15th ranked Oklahoma State against Kean Anderson and the Horned Frogs, who had the biggest upset in college basketball this year when they beat Kansas. Then at 9 in the Big East, Russ Smith and the Louisville Cardinals go on the road to face DePaul. Oklahoma State, TCU at 7, Louisville, DePaul at 9. It's Wednesday on ESPNU and also live on Watch ESPN.
At that time, Texas Tech trying to get Crockett on a kind of a one-on-one move, and he had a decent look. It seemed like he rushed the opportunity.
Magruder on the tip dunk following the DJ Johnson miss.
Rodney Magruder averaging over 5 rebounds a game, along with that scoring prowess. Understanding that he has to crash the glass, Mitch, based on their smaller lineup. Dalen Robinson does not have the ability to break down defenses like Josh Gray does.
Crockett missing, and here comes Kansas State with some early offense.
Crockett's got to come up with that, Mitch.
We're going to talk some more about Marcus Smart and some of the top players in the Big 12 coming up. Turnover by Southwell. Let's take a look now at Marcus Smart and the company he is in, at least for the Player of the Year award for the John R. Wooden Award.
He's special, and his numbers really don't tell the story of his leadership ability. I think that's his best asset, his ability to infect his teammates with that winning attitude. He goes hard every day. He doesn't say a word on the court except to his teammates. He's a consummate player at this level, Mitch, that he acts like he's been here before. Plays like a junior or senior with the poise and the competitiveness that he displays.
Strong as an ox. Crockett has had some decent opportunities here early for Tech. He just can't knock anything down. Hannah's with the hustle play. And he's got an and one opportunity as Dusty Hannah's with the steal.
Dusty Hannah's got that first shot to go, and all of a sudden his energy level on both ends of the floor is picked up. Shot the gap that time, beat Will Spradling to a loose ball, which you don't see a lot of times against Kansas State. They're usually pretty good at tracking down loose balls.
Texas Tech has only one road win this year. It was at TCU, and Hannah's was a big part of that. He had 12 in that game, all 12 on three-pointers, but he's also a good foul shooter. That's only his fourth miss at the line for the year.
So seems like he got a little excited, or maybe just lost his concentration. But again, Tech just has a very small margin of error to be competitive in this conference.
Kicked by Texas Tech. Chris Walker's team so far, other than a couple of exceptions, have played some decent half-court defense against this motion, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and they're really helping off weak side, so they're clogging up the paint and taking some of those cutting lanes away from Kansas State.
Magruder's been aggressive. Dejan Kravic. The team officiating here, and John Higgins says it's Texas Tech basketball.
Trying to get the ball down to that main man, Crockett, on the block. It was a tough entry pass. He was being fronted in the post area.
Higgins was a late addition to this officiating crew. Tom Eads couldn't make it in. Of course, rough weather here and throughout the Midwest. Gray blocked at the goal, but Crockett gets in the scorebook finally.
I would let Gray go a third of the time if he can beat Rodriguez that easily off the bounce. And Angel Rodriguez is going to try to guard him up front. As a former point guard, Mitch, I'd be licking my chops right now if I was Josh Gray.
He's beating twice on the bounce.
Well, you see Tech scrambling, forcing them into a tough shot.
Rodriguez for three. 32% from three all this season, but he's hit some big threes. It's like he makes his biggest shots in the toughest games.
I agree, and he likes the stage when the lights are brightest. Good closeout by Thomas Gibson.
Kravic with some creativity. He has dual citizenship. He's from Canada, but originally from Bosnia-Herzegovina. K-State's been a little loose with the ball, and this is the second breakout Tech has had.
Texas Tech doing what they need to do to close into the lead. Coming up, talk about the board work of Kansas State. Shot, they get inside position on their opponent. So Jake, go ahead and shoot it. I'm Thomas Gibson. I come in, I get inside position. I grab the offensive rebound against the opponent. Opposite of where the ball's shot, inside the opponent. This allows Kansas State to be ranked number 15th in the country in offensive rebounding rate.
They look like your old Lou Henson rebounding drills back at Illinois. But it's really what they do. I mean, that's a big part of their game, isn't it?
It is, and it started with Bob Huggins, the transfer to Frank Martin, and Bruce Weber has been able to maintain that toughness, that philosophy of getting opposite of where the ball is shot and putting yourself in position to get a chance at those rebounds, and they do it as well as anyone in the country.
Now, one thing that is not a part of K-State's 22-5 start are turnovers and opponent points off turnovers. K-State already with 4 turnovers in this game. Magruder, Southwell, Rodriguez, and Spradley. It has led to 4 Texas Tech points and maybe a 5th.
Yeah, and you see right there also Kansas State with 3 offensive rebounds already, and showing you why they have such prowess in that regard. Thomas Gibson, Magruder, even Shane Southwell will crash the offensive glass on a regular basis.
Jay Crockett, considered one of the best 6th men in the country, although he's had some spots starting. In fact, he started against K-State in the game in Lubbock.
I'm watching Jay Crockett. He has some negative self-talk going on. Every time he misses a shot, he's talking to himself. He doesn't look good. His body language is not good. And the way you get your offense going is you start playing defense and get on the glass, do the little things.
Gibson, left-handed hook over that big right shoulder. He's got 6 and leaves K-State in scoring.
And Thomas Gibson, when he's at point-blank range like that and you allow him to root himself in that post area, once he gets it, you have to foul him, because if you don't, it's an automatic 2.
We've already seen Kravitz be creative there. He thought he got fouled that time. Well, there's your backside rebound attempt by Omari Lawrence.
And we talked about Thomas Gibson and his board work. Watch how low he gets in the post area. Has to get out for the 3-second violation, but look right there, right in the middle of the post. Comes back to a strong left-hand jump hook. Nice work by Thomas Gibson.
K-State with a little pressure here. Tech sped up. But they get a good look and knock it down. Todrick Gocher with his first bucket.
We talked about Kansas State coming into this game, Mitch. The building doesn't have energy. You're playing against a team that's lost 8 in a row. And sometimes teams like this come out flat, just as Miami against Wake Forest.
Yeah, the building without its normal energy because of the blizzard conditions throughout the Kansas area. Foul called on Jordan Tolbert of Tech. It's his first, but in Kansas City, you got 12 inches of snow on the ground. They're expecting another foot of snow. And here they're expecting similar circumstances. But Tech was here. They flew in here early on Sunday. They had played at Iowa State Saturday. So they were able to get in here Sunday and play ball.
And Texas Tech won't be leaving tonight either.
They're not getting out.
No, they won't be able to get out with this storm. So just affects the number of people that can come out and really be boisterous. Texas Tech has to take advantage of Nick.
Rodriguez had a rare miss at the line. He's 3rd in the conference in shooting foul shots at 84%. Gray again right around the K-State defense.
Well, those are 2 opportunities. He's right at the rim. Hasn't been able to convert.
Tough shot. Omari Lawrence, the St. John's transfer, able to get the reverse layup. They're getting minutes out of him nobody thought they'd get.
And Omari Lawrence has been very solid. Southpaw.
Crockett missing the pick and pop, but Tolbert works hard. Jordan Tolbert, that's his first bucket. He had 19 against K-State in Lubbock.
Tolbert hadn't felt the rock in a while. He was determined to get that shot off.
He liked it so much, he'll try it again.
Oh, that's just a tough shot right there. One pass into a contested 3. You can get that shot anytime in a possession. We're really close to where Chris Walker, interim head coach of Texas Tech, we can hear him screaming to Gray, push it. He wants him to push the rock.
But he didn't want him to turn it over. And now Gray with the hard foul to prevent the dunk by Southwell.
Jordan Tolbert right there coming away, and a lot of the Kent State fans wanted to travel. He was strong enough to spin, take the contact, and finish. He's like, I did all the work in getting that offensive rebound. I'm going to shoot this thing.
Well, Tolbert's had his moments, averaging 9 points a game, but he had 27 twice last year for Tech.
He can get it going at times, and especially if he can get some offensive rebound putbacks. Gets his confidence up. He can stretch the D, a streaky shooter from outside, but much more effective 12 feet on in.
Southwell leads the Big 12 in three-point shooting at 46%. He was just 1 of 5, though, in Lubbock from bonus distance. At the foul line, not so much. 68%, misses both of those.
It's interesting to see that from time to time, a player that is so good from long range but struggles from the free throw line, or a player that's good from the free throw line just can't find the range from deep.
Dalen Robinson picks up the trash. The former Kansas City High School Player of the Year gets a bucket. Tech is within 2 at the under 8 mark of the first half.
Coaches like Bruce Weber, when they come into these practices and warn their players to be ready to play, sometimes, Mitch, 18 to 22-year-olds, they're not trying to listen.
Diaz gets fouled, slipping to the basket. But Texas Tech with decent defense and with some belief here tonight in Manhattan. Any practice he would have, and it's paid off.
Yeah, all the great ones, that's what they do. They just outwork their opponents. I remember asking Travis, I said, who's the better brother? And of course he said he was, but I said that Trevor's numbers look a little bit better. He said, yeah, but his team isn't as good. So it's a sibling rivalry for sure.
K-State is 3 of 7 at the foul line. That's news because they came off their best performance in school history on the road, shooting 20 of 22 at Texas on Saturday night at the line.
So this is an important juncture right here for Texas Tech. They can maintain a little bit of stability on the offensive end. Keep this close.
And going to the line will be Tolbert as Diaz can't handle him down low.
Tolbert really starting to feel good about his performance today. Really established himself on that post strongly against Diaz. I'm sure Tolbert feeling like he has a strength advantage in that matchup. So he got to this spot in the paint where he wanted to go.
Highly regarded recruit coming out of Fort Worth. He's had good games against K-State. 19 earlier in Lubbock. Last year he had 18 against the Wildcats here at Bramlage.
Right now, you've got to find a way to get Will Spradling and Shane Southwell involved in the offense if you're Kansas State.
Irving and a steal. Dalen Robinson in the back porch, and Crockett the beneficiary.
And watch after that dunk and steal by Crockett. Watch his energy level pick up on the defensive end. And the longer this game goes, with Tech playing this way, Mitch, could be very interesting.
I saw it in the game against Iowa State. Josh Gray now is fouling Angel Rodriguez. That is the second foul on Tech's freshman guard.
Nice job by Dalen Robinson harassing Martavius Irvin into that turnover. Crockett got the credit, but Dalen Robinson's defense forced the turnover.
I'm seeing more and more guys that will come around the top of that screen to reach in. I don't know how sound it is, but sometimes it works.
Yeah, and he got lucky that time, but again, they're feeling good about themselves. This is a team that is playing in Texas Tech that has nothing to lose, Mitch. If their attitude is right, that the way that Chris Walker preaches night in and night out, if they come out, the longer they're in this game, the more confident they're going to become.
Rodriguez and Magruder. But Gibson, he's got 8 points, and K-State back up by 2.
And Texas Tech's guards have to come into the post area and rebound the basketball. They need 5 on the glass. Thomas Gibson, excellent job of establishing that position.
Crockett loose with it. K-State has numbers. That's a heck of a tip in by Southwell. How high he stayed up there a while.
And he had great timing to avoid the offensive interference there. Nice job by Southwell. Watch this ball, Mitch. How it stays up. And he jumps up and he's like, ah.
Yeah, he stayed up on the 10th floor a while.
Yeah, he did. Something he used to do, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. The elevator wasn't coming down. I can't get out of the basement. All right, here's the last meeting now. K-State out-rebounded Tech in Lubbock by 18 rebounds.
15 on the offensive glass, and that's what's really kept K-State going right now. 17-10 advantage for K-State on the glass thus far.
Bruce Weber, the second best start by a first-year K-State coach in the school's history, and this school has had a litany of coaches. But you go back to Zora Clevenger. I didn't know Zora. He coached here in 1917, but he's the only guy that's had a better first year than Bruce Weber, K-State history.
Bruce does an excellent job. We saw the same thing at Illinois. First came in and was able to establish his culture quickly. Kansas State trying to go through some full court pressure.
And a walk on Crockett. Back to Bruce Weber for 19 years. 19 years, 2 decades. He sat in the chair next to Gene Cady at Western Kentucky and at Purdue. Gene, of course, played football here at K-State. For 2 decades, he waited his chance.
And that's why he's seen every situation in college basketball, what makes him such a successful coach. Learn under the tutelage of Gene Cady. It doesn't get much better than that.
Rodriguez thought he had the lob to Gibson.
And that was Dusty Hannas in the post on the deflection. So Texas Tech playing with much more energy and vigor than Kansas State here in the first half.
Robinson had nothing going. He's playing because of the foul issues with Josh Gray.
Good help by Crockett that time, forcing Spradling out just a little bit more, a little further away from that three-point line than he wanted to.
I'm telling you, Tech is defending tonight. They got playing these curls and playing this motion. And Thomas Gibson, though, has been the man. 10 points for him.
Third time we've seen that tonight, Mitch. Thomas Gibson is an old school big man. He's not hanging around the free throw line, the three-point line. When the ball is penetrated, he goes opposite of where the ball is in the post. Good job of following Rodriguez all the way to the bucket.
Tolbert able to get position and athleticism to score.
Tell you what, Ty Nurse. I want to jump up and give that young man a hug because that was a post feed. We don't see that in college basketball anymore. Beautiful lead pass by Ty Nurse to Tolbert where he could do something with it. Texas Tech impressive thus far in the first half.
They are fighting. Hanna's Spradling able to find Magruder. And an offensive foul called on Will Spradling of K-State. Second foul on him.
This is the way Kansas State has been able to stay in the game, getting aggressive around the rim, led by.
And she has a ridiculous amount of blocks, Matt. She is something to watch for the Baylor Lady Bears. Here, the Texas Tech Red Raiders have come to play. They're fighting K-State. 27-23 Wildcats, the 13th ranked team in the country. Now let's play a little BPI RPI and take a look at the Big 12 Conference. What do you see when you look at this?
Well, I'd say a lot of competitive numbers there on both sides, and BPI really seems to like the Big 12. And, you know, when you talk about the BPI, the RPI is more about which team has the best resume based solely on results. The BPI is about which team has performed better. So if you look at those numbers, very interesting in terms of what each numbers mean to each team, and that's a great breakdown right there for the BPI. But basically, Mitch, the BPI just uses more information than the RPI. They look at account, or they look at scoring margin and key players missing.
Yeah, a little more qualitative in analysis and not just quantitative, and they're stepping out, and that's a bonus too. As Kadir Tapsoba with the basket. He only gets 3 per game normally, a junior college transfer from Tyler Community College.
And he's more of a defender, rebounder, active body on the post. He'll give you some serious energy off that bench.
Rodriguez, a rhythm 3. It's an air ball. Journey to the tourney. Gigantic game Saturday night. As it's a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. Shane Larkin and Miami take on the Duke Blue Devils at Cameron Indoor Stadium. That is Saturday at 6 on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. Miami, that stunning loss to Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, leaves the door open for Duke. And a foul now on Angel Rodriguez trying to help Lowe. And that's his first foul.
Looked like Rodriguez was going to be able to come up with that steal. Tolbert, none of Tolbert's teammates said anything to him. You've got to scream to your teammates if they're in that situation with a defender coming in on their blind side.
Does Tech look 9-16 to you?
No, and they've been, you know, they've scored 60 or more points in their last 4 games, so they're scoring the basketball better. They just have periods of the game where they lose focus and 2 or 3 turnovers. The opposing team hits a couple shots and it's uphill from there.
Gray trying to get around Gibson. Nurse is a very good 3-point shooter. Not this year at 19%, but last year he shot nearly 40% from 3, and Texas Tech has the lead. Somehow Angel Rodriguez gets a putback.
Angel Rodriguez.
That just can't happen if you're Texas Tech. You've got Kansas State right where you want them, and you allow Angel Rodriguez, the smallest player on the court right now, to be able to get that.
And now Gray turns it over.
Well, Gray, on top of the key, able to break the defense down, collapses the defense. They try to help on the drive. Nice kick out to Nurse.
And then you don't check off the smallest guy on the floor.
Opposite inside. Just what we showed, that breakdown. That's how they are able to put themselves in position and come up with those offensive rebounds. Southwell not a one-on-one guy looking to give it up.
Minute to go in the half. K-State with 12 to shoot. And Magruder missing the 3. And Tech has a chance actually with that to play for 2 for 1.
Texas Tech is having fun, Mitch. They're smiling, they're running the floor, playing defense. They don't care right now that Kansas State is atop the Big 12 standings. They forced Magruder into a tough 3. Hannes has been really consistent on the glass. And look at Robinson with his head up. Up to Crockett. Excellent job by Texas Tech securing the defensive rebound and looking up the floor.
And K-State casual getting down on defense, and Texas Tech gets the transition basket. But they get an opportunity here for a 2 for 1 by scoring that quickly. Now, I want to ask you about Chris Walker. I guess we could say he's been around the block a few times.
He had played for Rolling Massimino at Villanova. He talked about Jay Wright, some of the different Steve Lapis, some of the different coaches that have had an effect on him developing his own personality.
Steve Alford, Jan Van Bredikov.
With that kind of resume right there, you know, he's seen a lot of basketball.
He is a Houston native, went to Milby High School in Houston, but then played, as you mentioned, for Massimino at Villanova. Speaking of Nova, they got the game after us. They need to get a win tonight on the road at Seton Hall. Here, Texas Tech. We mentioned the stunning upsets that have happened in this league. TCU beating Kansas, inexplicable. Tech beat Iowa State, that derailed the Cyclone train. And Tech is being honored tonight. In 6-second differential, K-State cannot take the clock down, the game clock down. Foul on Hannes, but they had one to give. It's the 6th. The only thing it does is give K-State the rest of the clock for the half.
And that was pretty well timed that time by Hannes. It looked like K-State was really getting ready to get into their offense there. Now they have to reset.
Magruder. The three-pointer. Around and around it goes. And through the basket to give K-State a lead at halftime. 3 or 2, Stephen.
I couldn't tell. I was looking at the release, so my eyes